I'm Justin Estes. This is the Untitled Coaching Podcast, and today we're going to talk a little business. So we're going to chat about why gyms go out of business. It sucks, but it happens, and it's been happening quite a bit in our area in the last year or so. There's a couple really big name gyms in Dallas that have gone out of business in the last about year and a half. And there's a handful of gyms east of Dallas that have gone out of business in the last 6 months. And there's a couple more that have just gone out of business out near our way, near Garland, like Plano, Richardson, Lake Highlands. And it's tough. And as a business owner, which, by the way, this episode is geared towards you, the business owner, but I also would encourage the client to stick around, because you're going to get an insight as to why I've done things at our business a certain way and why really it's with you in mind. Our responsibility as stewards of the communities we've been given is to make sure that you're taken care of. I can't take care of you if we're not in business. I would love to have the money to send my kid to Harvard if that's where he wants to go, or she. I got two now. Dang. But my first responsibility is to make sure that the community that God has put in front of me is taken care of, that you guys have what you need, that you guys are getting what you paid for, and that I'm able to underpromise and overdeliver. With that, I'm really comfortable with the price tag that we've put on our coaching program, because that's what we are. We're a coaching program. We're not a gym. And that to me is the difference. The boxes and the gyms and the programs and all these things that are going to go out of business, when they meet with clients or when they meet with prospective clients or when they meet as a coaching team, and they refer to themselves as, we are a gym, subconsciously, you're a place. And you got to fill that place with bodies. You got to start telling yourself, we are a coaching program. Why is that different? A gym, the product is the gym. A gym, the product is whether or not you have saunas and cold plunges, whether or not there are showers, what time all the classes are, what equipment you have, whose programming do you follow? What kind of results am I going to see in 6 weeks? What other things do I get with my membership? A coaching program? What is the relationship like with the coach? And it kind of ends there. So you have good coaches who care about people, who are knowledgeable, who are professional, who are intentional. A coaching program is really easy to be able to work hard in. A gym, there's too many variables. The market shifts too often. There's too many things that can go wrong. There's too many things to consider. Are you using the right software? Are you in the right part of town? Does your building face the right way? Do you have enough windows? Silly things that you think people wouldn't consider, but they're considering when they're opening their businesses. And I'm not saying a coaching program can just say, we're a coaching program and set up shop anywhere and do anything. But I am saying that there are coaching programs that started with storage facilities and parking lots and decided we're going to coach so well that people are going to pay us $300 a month to come train at 50-degree weather in a parking lot and get their equipment from a storage facility. And they're still in business today. Now, they're in a better building now. But hey, when your perspective shifts and you no longer are worried about having the best gym and you're worried about having the best coaching program, pricing becomes a whole lot easier to talk about. Why? Because at a gym, I have to sit there and tell you, oh, it's $150 a month, but look at how nice the facility is. I've dropped into places and they've been like, oh, we have all new Rogue gear. Man, I'm going to sound like such a jerk, but I've dropped into a place and they wanted so badly to flex about how great all their new equipment was, how amazing this building was, how fantastic the showers were, how cool all this stuff was. And they closed a year later. Why did they close? It was really cheap to train there. So psychologically, if it's cheap to buy something, you don't value it very much. So it's easy to end that relationship with that gym. Even if it's a really great class, even if you're seeing results. Because when you become a bargain shopper, that's really all it is. Now, I'm not saying gym owners slap another, $50 a month on your membership to get people to be like, oh, I'm paying for it, I got to stick around. No, I'm saying look at what you're providing. And that's what we did when shelter in place hit. Look at what we're providing. We no longer can meet in the gym. How do we coach people? Okay. From there, when we can meet, how do we continue this coaching? How do we continue providing value? And we found that for us, a really good rhythm is every 30 to 45 days meeting with a client one-on-one. And that meeting taking a lot of different ways. It can go, we could talk about nutrition. We could talk about different habits, sleep, stress. We can do a full-blown training session together. We can meet at the coffee shop. We can meet here at the gym. We can meet via Zoom. But I'm going to put an hour gap in my calendar for those times. Our coaches are going to, put about an hour gap in their calendar for those times. And we're going to make sure that we don't leave that meeting without a plan for the next 30 to 45 days. And when you keep stacking meetings like that, then it becomes really easy to look in our app and see what clients are doing for their workouts and give feedback on a week-to-week or day-to-day basis, depending on what they're working on. It's individualization, but it's individualization without having to do personal training. It's individualization that's intentional, that builds connections and builds relationships. And it gets to the point where we have clients that will take off time for sickness or take off time for traveling. And because they can't access the gym, they don't text and say, can you stop my payments? They text and say, I'm going to be in Europe for 3 weeks. What can we do for my programming during those 3 weeks? I'm going to get surgery and won't be able to, move my arm for 4 weeks. What can we do in those 4 weeks? What can we work on? Can we do mindset coaching? Can we do goal sessions? Can we do, whatever? Like, that's the beautiful thing about pivoting and realizing that your product is coaching. And so for the clients listening, it's not that we don't want you to feel like you can ask to pause your membership or cancel for travel or whatever, but we just want you to realize that in our head, this gym, it's just a place. What you're paying for is our relationship. To land the plane, owners, coaches, if you're doing it, if you are looking at your product as a coaching program and you are spending time outside of class coaching your clients, what that looks like is goal setting sessions. It looks like follow-up. It looks like conversations. It looks like sending them supplemental programming, nutrition coaching, whatever it may be. If you are spending a few hours a day outside of class and you're still only charging anywhere under, $200 a month, I would just be really careful. You're going to get to a point where you're going to saturate yourself so much that it's going to cost you more to do business than what you're able to provide. So I would encourage you to look at how much time you're spending and maybe consider increasing your rates, not so that you can make more money, but increasing your rates so that you can provide for the community that trusts you. Because it really sucks when someone develops a relationship with the coach, when someone develops a relationship with the community, and they start to rely on that place. And then all of a sudden, hey, we're closing our doors next month. And it's like a relationship ending. I don't know if I'm ever going to date again. I don't know if I'm ever going to find this again. It's scary. So owners, coaches, you owe it to that community to stay in business. You owe it to them to underpromise, overdeliver, to do the best you can to make sure that you're making an impact, you owe it to them to take it seriously. Our goal should not be 500 clients that have a recurring monthly payment and maybe come once a month. Our goal should be clients that come train 4 or 5 times a week, that when you text them and ask how they're doing with their training, they respond, they're engaged, because they know that you're not asking just to ask. They know that you're asking because you're there ready to make notes. You're there ready to provide feedback. They trust you. There is a relationship built. Our goal should be clients that are having a really crappy day. Look at the clock and say, oh man, it's 3:00. 4:30. I'm going to be warming up. Coach Justin's going to be there to high five me and say, I'm glad you're here. How was your day? He's going to know that I'm not having a good day, even though I'm going to look at him and say, oh yeah, I'm doing okay, doing all right, but he's going to know. He's going to be able to tell him having a bad day. And I'm so excited to see him and be in his class, because I just know that when I leave, I'm going to feel better. I'm going to be so glad that I came. It should not be, oh yeah, I get such an awesome sweat every time. No, it should be, man, that coach cares about me and I want to go and I want to be coached. That's what we do. We're in the business of people. We're in the relationship business. We're not in the gym equipment business. And hey, if your mindset is, I got the most badass gym and epic equipment and all these things and I'm making a ton of money, screw you, dude. That's cool, man. Keep pushing, keep doing you. Like that's your thing. That's just not where we're at. It's okay. I love you anyways. And I'm hoping people are developing good relationships with the people that you're employing. But I believe very strongly that connection, community, those are the things that are going to change lives. All right, y'all. Let me get off my high horse and or soapbox, whatever it may be. But this has been cool. I am going to sign off now. I'm Justin Estes. This is the Untitled Coaching Podcast, and I hope you have a good day. Peace.